Okay, so I know I'm overdue with this particular video. After I did Cyclops, I told you within about a week I'd be doing Black Panther, but life kind of took over. I hadn't had an opportunity to post this one. I'm really excited to post this one. It's a little more challenging than Cyclops. This is particularly going out to a really good friend of mine and his daughter Angel, who told me that the Cyclops challenge for her wasn't even worth her time in attempting to draw. So I'm going to challenge her specifically on the Black Panther drawing here to see if she can draw one better than this one. Alright, so Angel, the challenge is out there. Now for the rest of our faithful viewers, go ahead and follow this process for drawing the Black Panther. I think it'll be really enjoyable. Again, drawing should be a release, something fun and enjoyable. So I look forward to seeing what you guys develop. Thanks. Alright, so now we're just going to be working with ovals and circles and triangles for the first phase. So here you see we've actually started with the head. Now we're going to add the shoulders, the elbows, and notice these are just circles. Now we got the waist being drawn. These are just going to be guidance points. You got the knees, the triangles are going to represent the feet. Have to do the other side of the body now. So again, shoulders, elbow locations, hand locations. So it's just a process of adding the connecting bone joint. So pause the video as long as you need in order to do your portion. We don't want to leave anybody behind. Next we're going to do the skeletal structure. So we're just going to use straight lines to connect the arms, the elbow joints to the hands, the shoulder to the head. We're going to go ahead and actually add the skeletal portion of the body. So now we're going to go ahead and connect the spine down to the pelvic area. Use it as a straight line. Now we're going to represent the thigh bone, also known as the femur, directly down to the kneecap. And then you see we did the lower portion of the leg representation where the tibia and the fibula actually reside, connecting the knees to the feet. Pause as needed to stay with. Let's go ahead and create the pipe body, which basically is a real loose representation of the external body format. It won't be in great detail. It's just giving you an approximation of the muscle structure and details. So we just use that as a guide, which is why we're using a lighter tone pencil, because we're going to eventually erase all of this when we get ready to get into the more detailed aspects. So we use a lighter color pencil so that when we go to erase it, it minimizes any history that we kind of created a framework before we got to the details. And as you can see, this is really a pretty quick process. You're just following some of the basic guidelines around where you know forearms, biceps, shoulder, waist, chest, thighs, where it's all going to eventually be located. So it's going to look really generic here in the beginning, almost to the point where if you're a perfectionist, this is going to make you feel uncomfortable even working in this particular sketched manner. But I promise you it'll get you to an end result that you won't even remember that you basically started with this very elementary sketch structure. So notice here the position that we have his legs in. He's kind of in a squatted position, ready to pounce, kind of like a panther would. So you got to really be thoughtful about how you set your location of your knees and your fibia and your tibia when you get ready to lay this whole thing out. So be really thoughtful about it before you go through the process. Now you'll notice that the perch position that Black Panther is sitting in is because he's sitting up on top of a cliff overlooking Wakanda. So it's kind of an aerial view of him looking down over the mountainous region of his homeland. Again, this is what we call building a pipe body, a pipe body. Not the detailed muscular skeleton structure yet, but that'll be coming. Notice here I'm just using some basic straight lines with hooks on the end as a basic guideline for creating his hands and his fingers. These are very simple techniques to kind of help you um, build around, just to be guidepost. So we're at the end of stage 3. Again, pause it as needed. Now we'll start working on adding the muscle body. So that's just more curves and straight line. We're going to pick up a darker pencil because now this is going to overlap some of the previous details, and we're going to start to actually add some muscle detail. So now we're going to start thinking about the anatomy of the body and start adding some of the muscular detail for this particular drawing. So you'll notice we're starting to build his chest here. Collarbone area. Give him a more defined pectoral area. Now we're starting to work on the abdominal area. Creating a clear differentiation between the abs, the thighs, where his calves are, how he's kind of perched, sitting on the mountain area. Rounding the kneecap. And you should see it starting to come together right now. A lot more detail associated with it, darkening up some of the lighter content. And the reason we use the lighter pencil again is it's not going to be perfect in the earlier stages, but as it starts to come together, you can start to piece more of the detail together where you're a little bit more confident about symmetry of the body. Now we're going to start building some muscle definition around his neck and around the head. Building his Wakanda necklace that houses his suit. And now we're starting to give greater definition to his head. More of an oval shaped head with a box structure kind of chin. We're almost there. So now we're actually into the muscle detail. Alright, so that's the end of stage 4. We'll start here on stage 5 and adding all of the details. Pause it if you need to do a cleanup of the work you already have. So now we're adding some depth to the hands, connecting some of the lines. We're going to actually give him some panther claws at the end of his hands. Again, it's a little bit more about adding some of this detail up to the face, thinking through kind of the structure. Now again, your drawing doesn't have to look exactly like my drawing. You know, it's all about your own personal creativity. So if you think back, you know, a while ago we just had circles and straight lines, and we've already arrived at, you know, far more definition. We're getting closer to a 3D representation of the Black Panther here. And just cleaning up some of the areas, giving it more detail. Again, it's you being as creative as you want to be about the details you want to add to your Panther. I really love using pencils. I love sketching. The amount of detail you can actually add to your artwork when you're using a pencil, especially with varying shades, um, just really does allow you to give a lot of impressive detail. Utilize shadowing techniques to fill in some of your work. That gives it more of a dimensional element, more 3D, realistic elements. Now again, you're basically tracing the lighter lines you were using earlier with a darker pencil. And the things you don't like, you erase. So let's slow it down and take a look at the final product here. So you see I've added some detail to the mountain that he's perched on. Started to color more of the muscle structure in, so you just have a lot more detail. So I never really took any art classes. I'm really self-taught at drawing. So I'm not using any of the professional terms, or if you're an art student, you're probably noticing that some of these things are not necessarily directly to the book. But that's what makes drawing and sketching for me fun, is it's not an academic practice. It really is about your own creativity and about your own ability to envision the approach that you want to take. So this is just me doodling around. Since I was about 4 years old, I've just always enjoyed drawing things, and so I just kind of taught myself over the years. Alright, so we have a finished product, and it looks like this. So you completed stage 5. Next thing you want to do is make photocopies of it, and then you can color it in as you desire. So, you know, if you're Team Black Panther, that's great. If you are, or if you're Team Killmonger, by all means, color it the way you want. Or you can just go completely off the grid and just color it to your own preference. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same suit as Killmonger, or if it's Black Panther. It can be whatever you like. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this. Angel, it's out here. I want to see your finished product. Take your time, and God bless.